Hey everyone, it's Nick here from Childcare Business Growth, and I am very, very excited today to be joined by a very good friend of mine, Daphne Booker Harris. Daphne, thank you so much for jumping on today. I'm going to just tell everyone a little bit, if you don't mind, before I let you introduce yourself. I met Daphne about 3-4 months before COVID kicked in, and we flew out to Memphis. And the one thing I've got to share, and I hope Daphne doesn't mind me saying this, but I have never ever seen. I told Daphne before we arrive, we're going to do all the filming. I need you to make sure get as many parents there as you can before we arrive, so we can just get filming. We'll get them. Mike and I, one of my videographers, we arrived at 6:30 in the morning. There was already a queue outside the door going down the street. Okay, it was insane. We were like, surely these guys are not here. They must be dropping off their children. No, they were literally there ready to do these videos. So, and then one other point I want to talk about is I have never seen such a great community of individuals, of families, and the relationship they had with every one of your team, Daphne, the way, Melvin, all the other team were meeting the children and greeting everyone, and just, I loved it. So I'm going to pass over to you. Daphne, thank you for joining me. Tell everyone a little bit about you and all the amazing things you guys are up to, and don't hold back.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for having me. But for those of you who don't know, I am Daphne Booker Harris, the preschool icon. I'm the CEO of multiple childcare centers. We currently own 8 childcare centers now, but we operate 6 in the heart of Memphis, Tennessee. But y'all, what I'm most passionate about is being the CEO of Global Preschool Consulting, where I help early childhood educators who lack the guidance on how to start and grow a successful preschool empire by using my 7-figure proven blueprint. So that's what I'm most excited about. But we have a lot of things going on. But today we're going to just talk about the upcoming conference and the things that we're going to have at the conference, and some of the things we're going to be talking about. Just give you a sneak peek of what's about to happen.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Okay, Daphne and I, we've been friends now for a number of years, but I've always wanted Daphne to come up and do a presentation. But I've kind of pushed this to a whole new level this year with Daphne. We're actually going to be sharing the stage for a joint presentation, which I'm super excited about. But what I love is, and Daphne just touched on this. Daphne just doesn't just do childcare, okay? And I Daphne does a whole heap of amazing things in the community. Like, if you've ever seen like parades going on, it is insane. Some of the things, like the photos I've seen of the amazing work these guys do. Hopefully, Daphne as well. I don't know if you're okay with doing this, but if we could share on the stage some of those photos or just show some examples of some of the stuff you are up to. I've seen the photos of the queues of you guys, like queues all the way down the road, people queuing to come to your events because they're just insane. They're just unbelievable. And you just, not only do you help hundreds and hundreds of children, around Memphis, but I've never seen anyone give back to the community as much as you do as well. And I think that for me was very eye-opening to come and see what you guys do. So tell us today, we're going to touch on scale, how to grow. And I always find it funny where every 6 months or so, even less than 6 months, Daphne calls me up and goes, "Hey Nick, guess what?" I'm like, no, Daphne. She goes, "Yeah, we're opening another location." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like, and Daphne normally laughs down the phone at me when she's telling me these things. It's like, "Hey, we're opening another location and we've got another one." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like this is just amazing." But I always find it fascinating around your systems, everything you've got. So tell us, what do you think, Daphne, is like the challenge that people have right now around their business? What thing are you going to focus on mainly at the event?
So the challenge that most of my clients have is just knowing exactly how to scale from one center to multiple. And I'm going to cover like action steps that you can take to be able to manage more than one location, because when you put the right systems in place at one, you can manage multiple, but you have to be able to manage one properly before you can scale to multiple. And so those are some of the things that I'm going to discuss at the conference, on exactly the systems and the processes that we have in place to be able to run a franchise model. And so that I'm super excited about talking about that, because when I started this thing, I didn't have any systems in place and no idea that when I put those things in place, it would cause me to now operate 6 locations but own 8. I never thought that process will duplicate itself over and over again. So that's what I'm gonna talk about at the conference.
I love it. And one other thing we're going to add in as well, as an extra kind of bonus for you guys, is we're going to talk about, in this particular session, we're going to talk about how to add additional revenue streams to your business, even if you're full right now. Maybe you don't have capacity to take on any more children, or staff's an issue. We're going to give you some takeaways where you can actually increase your revenue quite substantially, even if you're in a situation where you feel that there's no other opportunities out there right now. So, Daphne, what would be your number one tip? I know we're not going to give anything away on this particular session right now, but what would be your number one tip that you would give people right now listening to this particular podcast?
My number one tip that I would give an individual is just, when you come to the conference, I want you to come with an open mind. And what I mean by having an open mind, we're going to talk about scaling. We're going to talk about innovative ways to be able to create additional streams of income. And you have to be open to doing things, doing new things and doing innovative things to keep you on the minds of your consumer, so you can make the impact on the community that you desire. But it all starts with having an open mind to doing things new and stepping outside of the box and doing things that you don't normally do, that cause you to be uncomfortable. And when you get uncomfortable, it causes you to really make an impact and really change the course of your community and the people that's connected to you. Because if I was doing things like everybody else, I would be the same. But in every area that I have a location, I stand out because I market differently. And marketing and advertising and doing things in my community is what I strive on. So I'm gonna talk about that, and y'all, I'm excited about it.
I love it. And tell me, if you don't mind, how much time are you spending on average, percentage-wise, in the locations right now? Because it's very little, isn't it?
Yes, I'm an off-site owner. And most of my time I spend at my corporate office or in the office of one of my locations. And that's simply because I'm the visionary of the business. And the only way that I can scale, I can really make an impact, is that I'm working more on the business versus in the business. And we have to learn that you can't manage everybody. You have to scale it down where you can only manage a small group of people.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And I that was a massive golden nugget for you guys watching this. Did you notice there what Daphne was saying? She's not managing every single person. She's put the systems, the processes in place that other people can manage those individuals. But Daphne was the one that set those precedents in the first place. Okay. So love that, Daphne. And how many conferences would you say you probably go to in a year right now?
I go to about, with business conferences, I go to about 7 conferences a year, and I spend over $100,000 a year on professional development.
Yeah. And they're not all childcare conferences, are they? You talked there about business. So you're looking outside of the childcare sector as well, because you're looking for other examples, aren't you? Leading examples from other individuals to help you scale and pick up ideas from elsewhere.
Yes, because if you see someone doing something at Dollar General, you can take those same ideas and bring them back and just flip it and do it in childcare.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So tell me, Daphne, you came last year. We've known each other now for, gosh, was it 4 almost 4 years now? Tell me, if you don't mind, and everyone listening, because right now there are literally 32, Okay. 32, we're going down a couple. It's going down gradually over the last few days to up until the event. The event's 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks tomorrow. Okay. So tell me a little bit about why you think other people should come to this particular conference, if you don't mind.
Well, I think the CBG conference, the live conference, is one of the conference that you should attend, because if you want to leave with action steps, if you want to leave with clarity, knowing exactly what you should do next, this is the conference for you. It's no fluff. It's all tangible information that you can actually take back into your center and implement immediately. And it's not only just for you, your team, because see, a lot of times we develop ourselves as the owners and we don't have information for our team. But this conference is geared towards you and your team so they can better understand the things that you're trying to put in place. Because when I brought my team last year, they went back full throttle. They understood why it was important for them to do the follow-up systems. They understood why it was important for them to get those Google reviews, because when they came to the conference, it all made sense at that point, because it wasn't just coming from Daphene. It came from the presentations in the rooms that they sat in. It went from, oh, could you do this QR code, to it's very important that you go online and give us a Google review. They've changed how they did things without me even saying it, because of the exposure that I gave them last year. And it really impacted my center in a lot of ways. So if you're thinking about coming, I want to encourage you to come and bring your team, bring your staff if you can, because it's not only going to change you, it's going to help them be able to help you with your dreams and everything that you want for your child care center, because the vision don't stop with you. It also goes with your staff, and you'll get to where you desire when you cultivate your staff and put them in different rooms so they can look at it differently. Because we say what we want, but when you expose them to a room of individuals like the experts they're going to be exposed to at the CBG, it causes them to see it from a different lens. And I encourage you to come.
Yeah, because you're bringing along, I think, 9 individuals, aren't you, this time? And I remember we do a separate event for our other clients, our boardroom clients in January, and there was a lady that came to us as a guest at that particular event, and she brought a team member along, and she didn't mean to bring that team. It was a thank you for the contribution she'd been giving. And I remember she messaged us 2 weeks later after the event, and she said to me, oh my gosh, she said, you will not believe the impact that it had on that particular individual, and how everything's now being led from her rather than me saying all this stuff. So what you just said, I couldn't agree with more, is just because, like you said, you're investing in your team. Yes, there is a cost. But what I love with you and your mindset is that you see it as an investment in your team. And the most important piece, I think you said, is it's coming from them. It's coming from other people. It's not coming from Daphene anymore. It's coming from other people. So they don't just think, oh, it's Daphene talking about this stuff again. No, I get it now. I understand. I've had the same kind of epiphany, or the light bulb that Daphene has when she goes to those events. So I love that. So Daphene, I'm super excited about our session. We're going to be speaking together on the Sunday, so day 2. So make sure you guys don't miss that. I know some people sometimes fly out early, but you need to make sure you do not miss this session. And I generally mean this. If there's any session that could impact directly your business and take it to a whole nother level, it will be this one session alone. Okay, because Daphene's gone from one location to now having 6 that she manages, but also owns 8. And she's still continuing to grow every single month with, as far as I'm aware, no plans to stop. But from my perspective, yeah, Daphene's agree. But no plans to stop. But with the greatest respect to Daphene as well, she's probably one of the least stressed people I've ever met. I've never, ever seen Daphene in a stress situation. And considering how many sites she manages, I think that's just a massive testimony to the systems, the processes, the leadership team, everyone she has in place to be able to run the business and give up, to be able to come out and step out and do things like this. So I'm super impressed by you as always, Daphne. And last one, if you just really quick one, we're doing round tables like we did last year. Tell me if you don't mind, just really quickly, just to wrap up. What impact do you think round tables have? You know, the ones we do in the evening time. What do you think they have on individuals?
Oh wow, the round tables was I think the round tables is one of the highlights
Hmm.
because it gives the individual the opportunity to actually sit down in front of a person that they may see on stage or they see in the room, and they can ask them any question that they want to ask them at that time and get that question answered. Because I remember one of our roundtables, it was two women from the UK, and they wanted to know about how I do my hiring sessions, and I gave them the ideas around how I do that. And they were super excited. They messaged me later with pictures telling me about how that just one conversation changed their hiring process. So
Yeah.
you never know who you may sit in front of at those tables, and you can ask them whatever their expertise is. Their expertise are you're able to ask them whatever. And
Yeah.
what room can you get in, and you actually get an opportunity to sit down in front of experts and just ask whatever you need to ask and get it answered.
Yeah, I remember we allocated, I think, 90 minutes in the nighttime last year to be able to do this. And some conversations were going on for so long, you know, in the end, we had to ask people to wrap up because I think one of the things I didn't do justice around last year, I didn't encourage people enough to bring their questions ready. And one of the things I'm advocating to every single person, I'm going to keep telling them every day about this, bring your questions. Bring your questions to this event, whether they are to do with scaling, they're to do with finance, they're to do with staff, motivation, leadership, whatever it is, bring your questions to the event. And you can go to those individual speakers, you can go to those coaches, you can sit down with Daphne, go, hey, Daphne, I've got 3 questions around how to scale. Here's my thought process. And what I love about all the speakers we have, they will tell you straight whether they think it's a good idea or, you know, if they've done it before, they tried it and it didn't work.
Yes.
That session alone can shortcut your learning process by
Mhm.
months or even years potentially if you just come prepared. So I just wanted to add that last point in there because I think it's so important to make sure you come with your questions ready. So Daphne, it's literally 2 weeks away. I'm going to be seeing you, where are we at? 2 weeks tomorrow in Orlando. I'm super excited to have you there. I'm super excited that we're going to be sharing stage together for our session on Sunday. And I'm always grateful for you giving up your time to be with us and to share your knowledge and your value and your wisdom and your calmness as well around how you run the business is just admirable, massively admirable. So I'm really grateful for you being here, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks from now. Everyone, make sure in the comments as well you give some love to Daphne. Reach out to Daphne, say hi as well, just to let her know that you appreciate these sessions and you look forward to meeting her there as well. Daphne, thank you so much for joining me. I look
Thank
forward to
you.
you 2 weeks tomorrow.
Thank you. See you guys at the CBG Live.